In Palestine, the occupation army has raised its attacks in the Gaza Strip, proving the standstill in the negotiations. Although they have not completely failed, they do not show a breakthrough either. Our correspondent Huda Hegazi gives us the details.
Mientras que el resto del mundo hoy celebra la llegada de un nuevo año, aquí los gazatíes en la franja de Gaza continúan con el sufrimiento.
While the rest of the world is celebrating the arrival of a new year, the Palestinians on the Gaza Strip continue with the suffering of this endless Israeli war. And today, January 1st, 2025, the occupation army has continued and has even increased its criminal acts here on the Gaza Strip. First, let's start with the evacuation warning message that the Israeli army sent at approximately 8 a.m. local time on the Gaza Strip to some parts of the Al-Baraish camp, here in the center of the Gaza Strip. And that warning message was, since the Israeli regime was preparing to incursion into that area, even though it is located in the center of the Gaza Strip, which is supposedly considered a humanitarian area, a safe area, but that now the Israeli army will start a terrestrial military operation in it. And from that warning, the Palestinians began to evacuate immediately. However, the Al-Baraish camp has not been the only area that has been warned of evacuation, but also in the northern area of the Gaza Strip, specifically in the city of Gaza. The army also sent warning messages several hours ago from what is the Al-Sarif area to the Al-Sheikh Rachwana roundabout. That is, we are talking about the fact that the army is increasingly incursioning and entering the city of Gaza. Apparently, it has already started from the north and is increasingly deepening until it reaches the city of Gaza, specifically towards the north and center of this city. Immediately, the Gazatis have already started the evacuation process, but it has been a very complicated process, especially now at night, with very low temperatures and not knowing where to go, since there is literally no safe area. Also, the burnings have continued, especially in the northern area. The occupation army bombed a civilian house this morning, causing the death of at least 9 Gazatis. Also, in the city of Gaza, specifically in the Al-Sheikh Rachwana area, the occupation army bombed a civilian house belonging to the Al-Sawarki family, causing the death of at least 7 members of this family. Also, in the center of the Gaza Strip, specifically in the Al-Baraish camp, the army bombed another civilian house, causing the death of at least 6 other Gazatis. And in the southern area of the Gaza Strip, in the government of Haniyans, specifically in the street of Al-Munara, the army also bombed a group of Gazatis, causing the death of 3 people. And according to the latest update of the Palestinian Ministry of Health, today, from this morning until this moment, the death of more than 30 Gazatis has already been reported. And as we can see, even on the first day of the year, on January 1st, 2025, the army continues with its atrocious crimes here on the Gaza Strip. Finally, I would like to talk about the latest news that different Arab televisions have published, according to the negotiations, saying that in recent days, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sent a new sheet with some modifications to the proposal sheet that the intermediaries had issued. And apparently, these modifications have nothing to do with what the intermediaries had proposed. In this new sheet, the Israeli regime, or rather, Benjamin Netanyahu, has put modifications in this first phase, of which previously there was talk of the release of hostages and corpses. But now Netanyahu only wants to release the hostages alive, and they want them all to be together. There has also been a modification in what is the withdrawal of the Israeli army on the Gaza Strip. There was talk that the army would retreat partially, little by little, but apparently now Netanyahu does not even want a progressive withdrawal of the occupation army. And therefore, these modifications do not coincide with what the intermediaries have proposed or even with what Hamas demands. And also, the main point of inconvenience is that the Israeli regime has assured that it will resume the war once the phase of the humanitarian truce is over. And according to these media and the statements that have been issued by Netanyahu's cabinet, So far the negotiations are still stagnant. They have not completely failed, but nevertheless there is no progress.
Acorde a estos medios de comunicación y acorde a las declaraciones que han sido emitidas por parte del gabinete de Netanyahu, hasta el momento las negociaciones siguen estancadas, no han fracasado por completo, pero sin embargo no hay